might have been his own shot right there. Oh, he's got another chance.
Fuego lands on his feet. Dodge. Oh, sick knee strike to the body. Followed up.
I didn't mean to watch this much of it, but now I'm so committed. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Anyway, I was going to check in on how they were doing. Wrestling fans will see some mistakes WWE's made and say that they can't book talent, but forget that all the other successes that they've had. I don't think the problem is that wrestling fans will see some mistakes. I think wrestling fans see a lot of things that aren't mistakes, but they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, so then they say that they are. I think that happens a lot. I think you get a lot of people who have cannot even begin to wrap their head around what they're looking at to comprehend it from a back end perspective. Like they you can look on the surface and see what wrestling is. That's the whole point. But you get people who try to dig into like what's going on the back end, and they just have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. They literally can't explain to you what they're looking at. So you see a lot of things that go south, and they freak out and they don't know what to blame. So they put it all on. They put it all on WWE when you would imagine 99% of the time that's not how that works. That's not how that plays out. There are a couple people, like I'm assuming something weird with Keith Lee happened on the back end. I don't want to say like Keith Lee had to have done something wrong and fucked it all up, and I don't want to say WWE just completely ruined him for no reason at all, because that just doesn't make any sense. It was probably some weird middle ground era, but Keith felt like there was something weird going on behind the scenes, just with the way he was kind of repackaged and then cut, and that whole thing was strange. Cesaro is the big one, where I was like, man, Cesaro was just a very solid, good talent, and they just never found the right thing to do with him. And I am looking forward to seeing Cesaro wrestle anywhere else, because I think he will kill it wherever he goes. Cesaro is one of those guys where it's like, that dude had the talent, that dude was doing everything right, and like they just could not find what to do with him. That Cesaro is the one where I'm like, I'm very happy he's going somewhere else, because I think he's gonna kill it wherever he goes. But I think a lot of, I don't know. I'm trying to think of other talents that came up from NXT and flopped and just didn't do well. Death Bell's thinking of Prime 17. Because, like, the shift, and again, this is why I'm glad they're rebranding NXT, because they're going to start focusing on shit differently, I would imagine. But the shift from NXT, like, what it takes to do well in NXT versus what it takes to do well on Raw or SmackDown is almost different skill sets. It's almost like a different set of skills you need to accomplish one or the other. So these guys just aren't properly prepared. Ricochet's champ. I'm on crack, and Ricochet's champ right now. Why would all these people leave to go to AEW just to be in the same position they were in WWE? Because you're moving. And look at what happened with Cody. If you leave and go to AEW, even if they make you wrestle on AEW Dark for a year and a half and you get 3 live matches and you lose all of them, you at least have the ability to come back and present yourself as something new. Or if you can go to Japan, or you can go anywhere else and do anything. Karrion Kross flopped. Okay, do you guys think that was a WWE issue? Do you guys think that was a Karrion Kross thing? Ricochet's champ right now. Sami Zayn was the perfect guy for the fucking John. Oh yeah, we were going down the match list. Let's go back to that. I completely forgot. We were going on the match list. We just got really, really distracted at Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Because someone said that Cody Rhodes leaving and coming back better meant that he, WWE didn't know how to grow talent, which is dog shit. Charlotte versus Ronda was so weird. That match was almost 20 minutes. And the ending was fucked. Why did Ronda get pinned off of a boot? None of that match made sense. I didn't like it. It was probably my least favorite match of the weekend. Bianca and Becky was a million times better than Charlotte and Ronda. Maybe a better ending would have saved it, but why is Charlotte beating Ronda Rousey off a boot? You know, why is Ronda not snapping her fucking arm? I don't know. That match is weird. Did not like that one. And then Stone Cold and Kevin Owens. Man. I like it when big time women's title matches end with a single big boot. Okay, Mark Leo. Do your thing, I guess. Disagree. I was reading Geekdom's Twitter. Geekdom sometimes has insider info, and he was talking about how there were rumors that apparently they were debating on which match should go on last, Charlotte and Ronda or Stone Cold and KO. And I guess Stone Cold, again, rumors. Stone Cold and KO were actually pushing for the women to go on last because they didn't want to take away from the women. But they knew shit with the women was going to be weird. So, I'm really glad it was Stone Cold and Kevin Owens because that women's match. I would have rather Becky and Bianca go on last than anything. But, yeah. After seeing both of them, very, very glad Stone Cold rounded it off. That was crazy. Him coming down was wild. The interview was wild. There was a point where you can kind of tell Stone Cold's fighting a smile. And then Kevin even calls him out. He's like, you can't talk right now, can you? And I don't think he could have because a big grin would have came up on his face. Ronda tweeted about it later. I'll pull her Twitter up in a minute. I'll read that. Yeah, Stone Cold and Kevin fucking kicked ass. About everything you could expect out of a Stone Cold match. 400,000 right hands. And a fucking stunner. You know what killed me is when they went out of the ring the first time. Not when they went up the stage. When they went out into the crowd and they were brawling a little bit. Stone Cold grabs Kevin for a suplex. And I tell my brother, I said, hey, I was like, no way. I said out loud, I said, no way this is happening. And in my head, I think no way this is happening. Because I don't think Stone Cold's as the giver of the suplex, not the receiver. I don't think Stone Cold is giving a suplex on concrete. Just, you know, because his fucking back or whatever. Maybe he bumps his head some shit, which he shouldn't in a suplex. But either way, sorry, I'm reading Twitch chat. I shouldn't do that. It distracts me. I didn't think Stone Cold would give the suplex on the concrete. Because I was like, he's not even going to want to take that fall. Because he's 57, right? And then he takes it. Kevin blocks it, flips it around, and Kevin gives Stone Cold a fucking suplex on the concrete. That was insane. Brawled around some more. It was mostly Stone Cold kicking Kevin's ass, drinking beers in between. Fucking they run up the ramp, suplex on both ends, back and forth. That whole thing was sick. Got him down there, ate a stunner, kicked out, got up, gave him one back. That match is everything. That match is everything you could ask for out of it. That was really nice. And then he called Byron in. And everybody knew, I love the idea that everybody but Byron knew it was about to happen. Because Byron goes up to get in the ring and you hear Corey go, oh, I've been dreaming of this night since the day I met Byron. Stunner on Vince, we'll get there. We're going one night at a time. We'll get there. That stunner on Byron was fucking amazing. I love that shit. That whole ending set. What a way to fucking send it off. What a way to send it home. Day one overall, really good. Lackluster tag match in the beginning because of an injury. You know, cut it short. It was 7 minutes. I don't want to say it's harmless, but it was 7 minutes. Drew McIntyre versus Baron Corbin is everything you would have wanted out of Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin. Miz and Logan Paul. The entire theme of Miz and Logan Paul versus the Mysterios was unexpectedly really, really great. Again, I think Bianca versus Becky, I need to go back and rewatch it. Might be match of the weekend. If that's not match of the weekend, Cody Rhodes versus Seth is probably the other potential match of the weekend. For the record, I have the match times in front of me. Bianca and Becky was 19 minutes, and Cody and Seth was almost 22 minutes. Not as long as I thought. I would have guessed a half hour, but they made it work. Ronda and Charlotte, 18 minutes, 30 seconds. Not good overall. Didn't love it. Just not in love with most of the match. And then Stone Cold and Kevin Owens to round it off. Really, really good. So, again, in night one, we'll call it. Match number 1 was harmless. Match number 2 was fine. Match number 3 was really good. Match number 4 was fucking great. Match number 5 was fucking great. Match number 6 kind of ass, 20 minutes. And match number 7 was fucking great. That's my night 1. Day 2. Today. We just lived this, boys. This ought to be good. Fresh on the brain, most of it. This doesn't have the update for how long the matches are, which is fine. It's whatever. New Day versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland with Butch. And it looked like the whole point of the match was just to show us that Butch is batshit. I know Ridge Holland injured Big E, and that was like the story to tell, so you would have thought New Day would have won for like the big pop or whatever, and they didn't, which I'm sure this isn't the end of their feud. I'm sure they didn't get the time that they needed at Mania. Apparently this match was supposed to be on night 1, but they just had so much shit going on night 1 that they moved this match to night 2 instead. All they did was there was supposed to be 8 matches on night 1 and 7 matches on night 2, and they just moved it to where there was 7 matches on night 1 and 8 matches on night 2 instead. So they literally just took it and moved it over. A lot of people are like, oh my god, their match got cut. It literally different. It got moved in the schedule. But anyway, that match is weird. That match was weird because, again, it didn't feel like a tag match that was meant to accomplish anything other than to show us that Butch is fucking batshit insane. Which, like, point taken, we got it. Hope they do something. Hope they do something with it. You know? And that we now know Butch is fucking insane, so hope they do something with that. We'll see where it goes. That one's not going down in the history books as, like, a good match or anything, but... Match should have been in the pre-show. They didn't put any matches in the pre-show. Or they didn't do a pre-show. They did a kickoff show. Which, honestly, good. Get rid of pre-show matches. Because why do they exist? Pre-show matches should literally, like... If you can do pre-show matches, you gotta have rules. Like, no title is ever on a pre-show match. Anyway, second match. Zelina and Carmella versus Sasha and Naomi versus Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan versus Natalya and Shayna Baszler. I thought that match was really solid. I think I was originally like Rhea and Liv are gonna win this, but then I was like, oh wait, no, Sasha and Naomi formed up first, and they've kind of been the super team for a minute, so it made sense. Sasha and Naomi won. I'm sorry, you have to. If you guys didn't see the entrances are worth watching. As is the match. The match was solid. I don't have any complaints about that. That was all really good. Rhea and Liv looked good, and then they kind of got their asses kicked, mostly Liv, and then they did a double Tower of Doom spot, which was fucking sick. And then Sasha and Naomi won, which Sasha and Naomi is kind of the super team going in this, so it works. Red Riot, we're going in order of matches. We will get there. Match number 3, Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn. Fucking slayed, by the way. Holy shit. Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn was a killer match. And I think there's maybe 3 guys you can call on in WWE to pull that match off. I don't think anyone does it better than Sami. But if you were going to ask anybody else to have that match with Johnny Knoxville and have it go the way it did, you can maybe go Kevin Owens, and you can maybe go AJ Styles. But Sami Zayn is just the perfect guy to do that. Just the perfect guy to go in there, because, like, he'll be corny, and he'll ham it up, and he'll make you hate him, and he'll say the over-the-top stupid shit, and he'll lay it on super thick, and then Johnny Knoxville and them get to go out there and fucking... And he'll beat the shit out of Johnny Knoxville. He did that. I love that, because this was, like, typically when you get celebrities, they kind of want to be protected. They'll do, like, one big spot, and then other than that, they'll kind of play it safe. But these are the jackass guys. Who cares if they're 50 years old? These are the jackass guys. Johnny Knoxville will go through 4 tables, you know? Johnny Knoxville will hit him in the head with a fucking cookie sheet. Who cares? He'll beat the piss out of him. He's Johnny Knoxville from fucking Jackass. When Wee Man body slammed Sami, I lost it. When Wee Man was able to, I don't think he could do it. When Wee Man picked up fucking Johnny Knoxville and body slammed him, lost my shit. The whole match lost, but they brought out the boot to kick him in the balls, which didn't quite work. Johnny had to make it work. And then they caught him in the big mousetrap, which didn't quite work. Johnny had to make it work, but still, that was crazy. Sami took bump of the night, right? When they threw him off the top rope and he went fucking flipped over and went through the mousetrap table. The props were nuts. That match was crazy. Every celebrity match outdid the one before it, which was just shocking. Woody called Wee Man on the ring. So did my brother. When Sami first went under the ring and a mousetrap snapped at him, it almost sounded like it was like an electric current because they used that buzzer before. They did it in the match too, but not until later on. When the first mousetrap snapped and Sami like jumped away, it almost sounded like an electric buzzer. And then my brother goes Wee Man under the ring. And that instant wasn't Wee Man under the ring, but then shortly after Wee Man was under the ring, which is badass. That whole match is killed. That whole match, I'm gonna rewatch that match like 4 times. That whole match is fucking sick. And again, Sami's perfect guy to do that. Sami Zayn's a perfect guy to do that, and he killed it. They all did great. Fucking, yeah. And like, you could say the big mousetrap was corny, but like, fuck off. They hit him with so much shit. They put him through a table full of mousetraps from the top rope to the outside. You know, like, fuck off. No complaints. That match was insane. That was probably one of my more favorite matches of the weekend. I did not think they would do Johnny Knoxville and Sami back-to-back with Pat McAfee and Austin Theory, but they did. And that match was also really good. Oh yeah, the bowling ball. I forgot about the bowling ball. The whole thing's fucking great. Pat's a fucking legend. Pat's more athletic than I thought he was. Because what did he do? Austin Theory was kicking him around. Austin Theory, they were both on the top rope looking like they were gearing up for a superplex. And Austin Theory shoves him off. And when he shoves him off, Pat cuts a backflip, lands on his feet, runs back up, hits him with a superplex. Oh no, he didn't just run back up. He ran, and without grabbing the ropes, he jumped up and landed with both feet on the top rope, and then hooked him and did the superplex. That was wild. When he jumped straight up to the top, yeah, that was fucking crazy. And then the rest of the match was really solid. I kind of wish he hadn't won with a roll-up, but it's fine. Austin Theory's a real wrestler. It makes sense. He got to celebrate for a minute. It got weird for a little bit when McMahon was kicking his ass. I don't know why, but part of me was just hoping that, like, the interruption would have happened maybe before the 3 count. Because, like, he did do a perfect swanton and just nobody home. But yeah, the part where McMahon was just sort of beating his ass felt weird and too long. Like, I get why they did it. You're setting up Stone Cold. But I feel like maybe if McMahon punts Pat and then pins him, and then at, like, the 2 count, the music hits. But it felt like they gave him a fucking parade, and it was great. He had his moment. And then they shit on it for a little too long. And then they brought Stone Cold out, so who fucking cares, right? Who fucking cares? Stone Cold comes out. And Pat got to live the whole dream. He had a match. He won it. He got to wrestle Mr. McMahon. He got to celebrate by drinking beers with Stone Cold. He got to get stunnered by Stone Cold. And then while half passed out outside the ring, I need a gif of this, by the way. Fucking chugging a beer. While, hey, what up, Edgar? Chugging a beer while, like, barely in it, because he got stunnered. I need a gif of that, like, ASAP. That gif is a prime reaction gif. Pat lived the whole fucking dream. That was badass. We also got 2 of the best stunners I've ever seen taken. And sandwiched in between these 2 stunners was the worst stunner ever taken. I love that shit. Because Austin Theory took a crazy good stunner. He jumped up and, like, flopped his hands and legs in the air. That shit was hilarious. And then Vince crumpled off of a kick, and that was just a fucking nightmare. And then Pat took a really good one where he had a full fucking gullet of beer that he just spit out the whole way through. That whole thing was really good. You got it? I had it on my Twitter timeline. Oh shit, the cool man got the gif of Pat drinking. Oh yeah, you both got it. Okay, sick. This gif. This gif exactly. I need to find somewhere that it exists other than Twitter. I need somebody to DM this to me on Discord so I can save it to my phone. But this gif right fucking here. Oh, you know what made me sad? My brother noticed it. Thank you, Julie. If you go back and, we're just gonna leave that up there. If you go back and watch Stone Cold and KO in their match, Stone Cold, I think he was blown up. I think he was breathing heavy, and he'd also drank a lot of beer and was like, I don't know, probably burping and shit. You guys know what beer is. Stone Cold is actually probably the saddest part of the weekend. Like, injuries aside, this is the saddest part of the weekend. Yeah, logo point of the camera because Pat's a fucking marketing genius and he knows how this shit works. Stone Cold will love that. But in Stone Cold and Kevin Owens match, Stone Cold takes a drink of beer right before Kevin gives him the stunner. So Stone Cold, who does not take stunners very often, has a huge swig of beer ready. But when Kevin kicked him, he lost it. You see most of it fall out of his mouth right before or right when Kevin kicks him. So Stone Cold was geared up to do the fucking classic spray off the stunner. And he lost it right before. It was the saddest part of the fucking weekend outside of injuries. Who got injured? Bianca got heel kicked in the fucking eye. We didn't bring that up. We should have. Bianca took a heel kick into the fucking eyeball. Have you guys seen pictures of that? Her eye is fucking swollen. Her eye is like swollen shut and purple and stuff. Boogs blew out his knee, and it's highly possible Roman actually dislocated his shoulder. Which I think is what made Finn Balor have to give up the championship the first time around. So we'll see how bad that is. AJ? Is AJ hurt? Lashley bumped the back of his head on the fucking... Yeah, Lashley had to bump the back of his head on the ring post. Which also looked nasty, but I guess he made it out okay. Let's keep going on the list. Next was the triple threat tag match. RK Bro versus the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy. No... One thing about the Sami match. Well, I didn't mean to talk about everything that happened in the Sami match, but yeah. When Sami went to the top rope, I told my brother, I was like, Sami never goes top rope. This is gonna backfire. And when he's up at the top, I didn't even see when Johnny Knoxville got it, but when he just holds his hand up and clicks the button to shoot the pyro off, that was great. Profits were robbed? The Profits are in a really weird spot right now. The Street Profits are in a really strange spot because Randy Orton got the hot tag. You know the tag that happens in every single tag match ever? Where one of the good guys is down, and like the good guy's down and he has to make it over, and when he finally makes it back to his partner in the tag, the crowd goes crazy, and then he comes in and he does 2 clotheslines and then a big move and then kind of runs on a couple people. There was a point where both the Street Profits, I think it was Angelo Dawkins, and Randy Orton got tagged in at the same time. And Randy got the hot tag, meaning that the crowd is more on the side of Randy than they are on Street Profits. So they were kind of in a goofy spot in that match in general. I thought it was good. You saw Montez go up to the top rope, and my brother goes, okay, because he's going to jump on Randy. My brother goes, okay, this is Randy's RKO, because you know he's going to do a big one. So when Riddle came up and caught him off the top, that was fucking sick. That was crazy. Perhaps spot of the night. Not a lot of complaints about that one. The other thing I want a gif of is after after the match ended, when they brought in Gable Stevenson. Stevenson? I think it's Stevenson. When they brought in Gable Stevenson, and then fucking Chad Gable runs up and Chad smacked the shit out of his cup. This is wrong, weirdly. Don't care. Chad ran up and he smacked the shit out of Gable Stevenson's cup. Like, just smacked the fuck out of it. I want a gif of him just running up, and I want to go back and rewatch the part. I want a gif of him just running up and smacking the fuck out of that cup, because that's hilarious. I don't want to start a whole other conversation, but if we want to round back to WWE's ability to grow talent that can be grown, look at how long Chad Gable sat before they figured out what to do with Chad Gable. And then now that they found it, and now that Chad Gable is older and has learned and how well it's going, look at fucking Chad Gable, man. Chad Gable came in and he was part of a tag team, but you know, nobody was like loving Chad Gable, right? And then they pair him up with Otis and they let him just be a fucking dork, and look at Chad Gable now. I fucking love Chad Gable now, man. This is my favorite rendition of Chad Gable ever. Anyway, interested to see what they'll do with Gable Stevenson. Randy's reaction. Hom got Randy's reaction somewhere. Hom got a picture of Randy's reaction. Yeah, it's right here. This is Randy's face when that happened. Edge versus AJ. No complaints. That was, I feel like I got exactly what I expected for Edge versus AJ. Edge's entrance was badass. AJ got hit with some of his own pyro on the way to the ring. Big O after the Logan Paul match. I have not been that pissed off at a wrestling match in a long time. I was pacing back and forth at work because I was so mad. Oh yeah, you're a big... Big O's a big Eddie Guerrero guy. So for Logan Paul to end that match the way Logan Paul won that match was wild. Edge versus AJ was really good. It looked like on his way to the ring, AJ got hit by some of his own pyro in the side of the fucking head. That's why he was bleeding on his way to the ring or something. So yeah, AJ was bleeding before the match started. Good match. Very, very interested in what happens with Edge and Damian Priest now. Cannot begin to express to you how interested I am in the two of them palling around together. Down on the Edge and AJ match was that they were dead. Yeah, there had been so much hype shit that happened before the Edge and AJ match, and it's not that they had a bad match, they had a good one, but they had a slow one. They had a slow burn match. And that was like, you have a crowd that just gave so much energy that, like, you know, it wasn't Edge and AJ's fault, is what I'm getting at. It's just the way the night worked out. Bobby Lashley versus Almost like opened the card, didn't it? This has it on match 7. So this order we're doing, it's out of order, but it's fine. It's whatever. I liked Lashley versus Almost. A little short, but you know, for Almost like first, second real official singles match against an actual superstar doing their thing. No complaints on Bobby Lashley versus Almost. Almost can lose and still be a giant no matter who he's facing. Lashley can lose and be okay, but it's a lot better for Lashley if he wins there. Thought they were putting the rocket on him. They still are. I mean, I don't think I would say that like there's not a rocket on him. You're not gonna see him losing to fucking like Apollo Crews next week, right? He almost is just a very big dude. I'm interested to see what they do with him going forward, knowing he's just a, you know, now that he's solo. We'll see where that goes, because, I mean, as of right now, he's literally just, like, very huge guy. You know? I am kind of glad, I'm actually kind of glad Lashley won. It was kind of cool how they did it. They geared Lashley up for the suplex, and that was the big one, and then he just speared the shit out of him. Bobby and Roman both speared people from the back. Like, they both speared somebody's back because they weren't, like, the other people weren't in position tonight. That was really weird. Anyways, big boy match of the whole weekend. Brock versus Roman. It was fine, not great. It's about what you come to expect from Brock Lesnar matches. It was solid, yeah. Like I said, it was about what you would come to expect from Brock Lesnar matches. Brock Lesnar's been having almost the same match for the last 5 years. The ending, rumored, I'm sure we'll find out more in the next few days. Rumored, the ending was cut short because Brock might have actually popped Roman's shoulder out of its socket with the Kimura. And then, because Brock might have actually popped Roman's shoulder out of its socket with the Kimura, Roman had to get up and then just spear him right away to end the match. I hope Roman... Like, I'm torn because I hope Roman isn't injured, but I also... I kind of hope there was more to that match. Part of me hopes we get to hear about it or see it someday. And if there's more to that match, I'm really upset because I wanted to see it. I wanted to see it. You know what else I wanted to see, and I hope it was part of the match. Again, I can't ask for a lot more out of that match because, like I said, we just know how Brock matches operate and how they have operated for the last 5 years plus-ish. I wanted to see a guillotine. I really did. He could barely hold the title up when he lifted him up. I just assumed he was doing a better job at Daniel Bryan. Or a better job than Daniel Bryan. Of selling the fact that his arm was actually hurt at one point in the match. I don't know if you guys remember when Daniel Bryan unified the titles forever and ever ago. Daniel Bryan had an injured arm going into the night. And then he wrestled Triple H, who picked on his arm all night. And then after the match, Triple H held his arm up against the ring post and slammed a chair into his shoulder. So his arm was extra fucked. And then he had a triple threat match against Randy Orton and Batista where they both picked on his arm all night and tore his arm apart and ripped it to shreds. And then when Daniel Bryan won the match, he did this while holding 2 of the heaviest belts to ever exist. But it's okay. He only did this for like 20 straight minutes, indicating that his arm was totally fine. When Roman got put in a Kimura after having his arm attacked for a better part of the night, Roman went and struggled a bit. The same kind of thing. Lashley did pop, or Lesnar popped Lashley's shoulder out too with a German, right? Because after that, I just remember Lashley was taking those Germans so weird. He'd like turn over. He'd like halfway roll over. They looked awful. But it was so he wouldn't land on his bad shoulder, I guess. Roman got hurt when he speared Lesnar through the barricade? You think so? Roman just pissed off Brock again? I don't think that happened this time. Apparently, the first time, in case you guys don't know the story, and this is Roman said it on Chris Jericho's podcast, I think. Apparently, the first time Roman and Brock met at Mania, where Seth did the cash-in. Apparently, Paul Heyman and Brock were backstage, and they were kind of, like pushing Roman, I guess, or like they were kind of pushing to the higher ups, so like, hey, Brock's gonna kind of do whatever he wants to do to Roman Reigns in there. So if Roman wants to get offense in, he might not get it. Just that kind of shit. This is Roman telling the story on Chris Jericho's podcast, when I remember. The first time they met, not this one. First time they met at WrestleMania. So Roman went out there, he's like, yeah, Brock's a fucking UFC fighter and he's bigger than I am, but like, I'm not just gonna be pushed around. So when you go back and watch that first match, they ring the bell to start and Roman immediately runs up and fucking uppercuts Lesnar's shit. And apparently that was a live round. Apparently Roman just walked up and smacked the shit out of Lesnar. So then Lesnar pushes Roman back into the corner and starts actually shouldering his ribs, and he breaks one of Roman's ribs. I did notice Roman's arm go further the longer the Kimura lock was going. Brock is a safe wrestler, so I'm surprised. What has he done recently? For a guy who doesn't have that many matches. Blew out Lashley's shoulder. Maybe fucked up Roman's shoulder. I feel like we just talked about another one. Think him having to vacate his title? It depends on how long he's injured. Because Lashley got possibly the same injury and was not out that long. Finn Balor got a dislocated shoulder and was out for 6 months. So I'm just reading chat. The very red spot on Roman's arm, which I'm assuming is where the dislocation happened. Is that how that works? Breaking bones and dislocation just sort of happen under the skin? Couldn't a red spot just be like if he hit something hard? I don't know. Brando, I have no fucking idea what you're trying to accomplish with that statement. If Brock wanted to pop Roman's shoulder on the Kimura, he wouldn't have waited. Yeah, no shit. Nobody said Brock intentionally hurt Roman. The problem is that he's doing a very real move, and even if he didn't actually want to pop it out, he might have just done it anyway by mistake by cranking it a little too far. Any quick take on the Tyreek trade? It's bad for both Miami and Kansas City short term, but it's good for Kansas City long term, so we'll see. We are less likely to win this year's Super Bowl by a bit, but we are more likely to win Super Bowls down the line, probably. Later, Zeno. Have a good night, bud. I don't know. I'll rewatch the match. I'll rewatch the match tomorrow, probably. I think that's the only thing that's let down is, like, if they did have more planned for that match, and if they did have more planned for that match and we didn't get to see it, I'm pretty upset. On top of that, if Roman actually blew his fucking arm out in the opening, like, 3 minutes, and they still went and wrestled another, like, 10 or so, that's crazy. The toughness is astounding. I would guess, and again, this is all just predictions and hearsay, and he might not even be fucking hurt, who knows. If Roman has a shoulder injury more like Lashley's, where he can just not compete for a couple weeks and then get back into it, then Roman will hang on to the titles. If Roman has something that's going to keep him out for 6 months, they're going to make him relinquish, and that's the saddest shit ever. But really opens up a spot for someone else to come in. And I say a spot for someone else to come in, but what I really mean is they're either going to give it to Brock or Lashley, depending on if Brock wants to do it or not, which is pretty sad. Like, imagine Roman got hurt and they had to take the title off of him, and then Edge started his new run with Damian Priest as the double champ. That'd be wild. I'd rather have Roman relinquish than lose quick to someone. Yes, 100%. I mean, don't make him go in a match and do that when we know he's injured. That's lame as fuck. Would be the second time Roman loses the titles to being out. I mean, he got cancer once and gave the belt up that way. He's actually had cancer a couple times, but or had to fight cancer a couple times, I should say. Brock, Lashley, Edge, Seth, Finn, or they're not. I would not say they would give it to Cody right away. I don't think that works. I don't think that plays out like that. Edge would be dope. I wouldn't dislike the idea of Seth, but I don't think they would have Seth lose to Cody and then immediately go be double champ. I don't know. It also sucks because he's been champ for like 500 some odd days. Give it to Randy. Randy's tag champ. Speaking of Cody, that match was lose-lose. Absolutely not. Seth will be fine. That is Seth Rollins. He has been on a losing streak, but he's a top-tier competitor. You give him a big match. Seth could have a big match against, I mean, I guess he just wrestled Edge. But Seth could have a big match against anybody near the top and win, and then be right back on top. He'd be fine. Seth will be fine. I think Cody needed to win. I think that's the only way that goes. Because if Cody doesn't win out of the gate, he's kind of dead in the water. But if Cody comes in and you give him a win, and a big win like the one he got, now Cody is... WWE decided that when Cody came back, he was going to be somebody right away. And that's exactly how it went. I'd be surprised if Cody's in the title picture by SummerSlam. He might have maybe have a small feud with Seth. Apparently he's supposed to come on Raw and start talking. But I have to imagine he's going to make a claim for the title soonish. Cody, a build to Cody Roman at SummerSlam. Hypothetically, Roman's not injured. Everything's fine. A build to Cody Roman at SummerSlam, and then Roman wins, and then that's when they start teasing The Rock would be wild. Edge AJ was your favorite of both nights? I respect it. I like that match a lot. It wasn't my favorite of both nights. My favorite is... I need to rewatch Becky Bianca, but I'm pretty sure my favorite is Becky Bianca. This is music from Sonic. Do we know if Roman's hurt? We don't know shit. We don't know if he's hurt. The speculation is that he's hurt because the ending felt abrupt, and it felt like they had more to do and should have done more and didn't do it. It was also very weird because Roman rolls over after he gets out of the Kimura, and he calls Paul over. He says, Paul, my shoulder's out. My shoulder's out. It's gone. It's out. So in my head, immediately, I'm like, okay, this match has at least 5 or 10 more minutes, and Brock's going to start working the fuck out of the shoulder. And then the next thing that happens, picked up for F5, shoved off, spear over. That just felt really weird. Like they were setting up for something that didn't, you know, nothing happened. Match seemed the most real. They were both attacking very certain spots in creative ways. I think real, I know what you're trying to say. Real's not the word I would use there. Technical, old school, to an extent. Bare bones isn't the right word. I know what you're trying to say. It's just not coming to me. That was a very technical, slow burn match, and it was old school. It's the kind you don't see very often anymore. But cerebral, that's a good word for it. Cerebral's good. Haven't watched since like 2012 to 2013. Seeing that type of thing again felt nice. I see you. Yeah, that style's fallen out of favor a lot, which is why I'm glad you get guys like Cody and Seth did a really good job with it in the beginning of their match, and just that the technical style wrestling, the chain wrestling, doing that sort of thing. And then you get old guys like Edge in there who'll still do it. Did AJ pop his shoulder out? No, the announcers talked like maybe he did that, but I don't think he actually did that. Triple H, typically, you know, being the coolest guy in the room, retired in the coolest way possible. Didn't say a lot of shit. Just said, welcome to WrestleMania, by the way, here's my boots, and walked out. I like Edge's new theme. I like it. I heard some people say the old theme was better, but like, for what he's doing now, that new theme fits really, really well. Yeah, I don't know. I liked it. I'm gonna stream for a little bit longer. Can somebody get me a list of last WrestleMania's matches? And maybe the WrestleMania before that? Would Brood fit his theme too? No, Brood is too in your face. The Brood theme is too much like the darkness is coming at you, you know what I mean? And his current theme is a more calm, relaxed, it's still dark, it still fits the theme he's going with, but it's more calm and relaxed, like he's been about it, I think. But if I get a link to last year's WrestleMania lineup and maybe the WrestleMania lineup from the year before, because people have been saying this WrestleMania was the best one since like 17 or whatever, but I remember the last 2 years being really good. I like them a lot more. Like, I would watch those, and I would say that is the, you know, that was like a top 5. WrestleMania 37. Night 1, McIntyre versus Lashley. That match was good. Lashley won. Match 2, Bianca versus Sasha. This is where Bianca beat Sasha, right? In 38 or 36. Okay. Well, this I'm currently reading last year's. Then we'll go to the year before. But in last year's night 1, Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. I think I'm going from bottom of the card to top. Let's do it the other way. Riot Squad versus Lana Naomi versus Dana Brooke and Mandy versus Natalya and Tamina. I think I remember Lana fucking a lot of shit up in that match, but I don't remember a lot of the match otherwise. Second match, Cesaro versus Seth. That match was a fucking barn burner. Cesaro versus Seth was really good because that was about Cesaro having his first singles match and Seth saying he can't cut it. And like, again, Seth Rollins is a fucking gem. Match 3, Steel Cage, Braun Strowman versus Shane. That's the one where Braun fucking punched a hole in the cage and ripped Shane through it. Badass. Liked it. Match 3, Bad Bunny and Damian Priest versus Miz and John Morrison. And honest to God, Bad Bunny, I know we had a lot of good ones this year too. Bad Bunny might be the best celebrity wrestler who ever lived. Bad Bunny was hitting Canadian destroyers and shit. And that's another case where Miz works really well with celebrities, but then John Morrison is just a fucking godsend, and I miss him. But Bad Bunny and Damian versus Miz and Morrison, I remember, blew me back. Then Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks, great fucking match. Bianca won, new talent getting it. Everybody loves Bianca, fantastic. Love that match. And then Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley, perfectly fine match, and Bobby won, which is what I wanted. So that was a killer night one. That's actually an insane night one. If you didn't like, just because I don't remember a lot about it, if you didn't like the tag team turmoil match with the girls, then there's literally one miss on that card. Everything else is fucking, that was great. WrestleMania 37 Night 2 match card. Women's Tag Team Championship match, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus whoever won the first night. Don't remember a lot about that one. Sorry, Women's Tag Division. I tried to forget everything about Nia Jax at this point. U.S. title match, Riddle versus Sheamus. That was the one where Riddle went to cut a fucking moonsault off the second rope, and Sheamus caught him with a bro kick, and he was bleeding out of his fucking face. If I don't remember anything else about that match, I remember the ending. And this was at a time when I didn't care for Riddle that much, and Sheamus is Sheamus. So that match fucking wowed me when I did not expect it to. Match 3, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, which is literally always a good match. You could put that on any card at any time ever, and you will get a good match. And we got a good fucking match, Kevin Owens and Sami. The next, we had a Nigerian drum fight for the Intercontinental Championship, Big E versus Apollo. I'm pretty sure Apollo won that, and I was pissed. Pretty sure that match was a whiff, because Big E gave a killer promo, and then he didn't win, because Commander Aziz interfered or whatever, and I didn't love that one. Speaking of ones nobody loved, Randy Orton versus The Fiend, when The Fiend lost. This is not long before he got cut, because he was still struggling with everything up here after everything that happened. So I remember people not liking that, even though the visuals are cool, and Alexa Bliss came out and fucking caused him to lose, and that was a whole thing. Couple misses there. Raw Women's Championship match, Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. That match is badass. Pretty sure Rhea won, right? Yeah, because Rhea and Bianca both won. I remember that now. Yeah, Rhea won. Which I think I was pulling for Asuka, but the match was so good I didn't care at the end. And then the fucking match, the fucking main event. Edge versus Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns for the title, and Roman fucking double stacked them, pinned them both, and counted to 3. That was an instant classic banger alert. Can we get a T-shot in Otters? Holy fuck, what a match that was. I'd say last year's WrestleMania was better than this year's. This year's was really good. There were 2 pretty bad misses on night 2, and maybe 1 half a miss on night 1. And other than that, it wasn't just fine. Like, it was a really solid shit. Was WrestleMania 36 COVID? Was that COVID Mania? I don't even remember shit from WrestleMania 36. What the fuck? Oh no, this was COVID Mania. This one was dog shit. We got Goldberg versus Braun, and that was a finisher fest. And then we got Brock Lesnar versus Drew, and that was a finisher fest. The Edge versus Randy, they had a weird match. No, this was COVID Mania. That one was ass. Only good thing that came out of this was the Firefly Funhouse match with John Cena versus The Fiend. Yeah, and Taker and AJ in the Boneyard. That was really it. I think there's an argument that 37 is better than 38 as far as WrestleManias goes. But you know what? Before I cut stream, I'm going to go through WrestleMania 38's card one more time. We got to give it up to everybody who carried some fucking matches. We got to give it up to the people who carried some goddamn wrestling matches. Because, let me find this. Okay. Let me clarify. This first match I'm going to mention, Seth did not carry this match, but I don't think this match happens nearly as well as it does without Seth. I think there's very few guys you can plug into this spot and have it go as well as it did. But Seth was the perfect opponent for Cody, and they both made that work really, really well. This doesn't fall into the bubble I'm about to put it in. Seth did not carry that match. That wasn't on Seth's shoulders. They both did really great, but Seth was the absolute best guy on the roster you could pick for Cody's comeback, and that whole match, that was really good. Can't really say Stone Cold or Kevin Owens carried Stone Cold because A, that's Stone Cold, and B, that was a lot of fucking right hands. They just had a really good outing between Kevin Owens and Stone Cold, just really solid. Again, not throwing that one in the carry bubble. Where's the carry bubble start? Here's where the carry bubble starts. Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn carrying the entire Jackass crew, and the entire Jackass crew also doing a great fucking job. But again, once again, WWE, terrific fucking booking. At it again. Perfect guy to do this. Did you guys see how much hate all these celebrity matches were getting going into the WrestleMania weekend? Like, oh my god, there's so many celebrity matches. These are all going to be dog shit. Every one of them was fucking great. Every single one of these was goddamn fire. But yeah, Sami Zayn against the Jackass crew. Cannot pick a better dude for the build, for his promos, and then for what he does in the ring, and you know, just everything. Everything is fucking fantastic. Sami Zayn did a great fucking job for the Jackass guys. Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. Nobody really carried anybody else, but for Austin Theory being the guy who, you know, wrestles every day and really knows what he's doing. Austin Theory did a great job. This is a guy who I have not been sold on, but for what that match was and what it was supposed to be, and then what they accomplished with it, Austin Theory did a great fucking job. I don't know why I had it in my head there was one more. I guess that's it. But yeah, there were a couple guys, people like, oh my god, these celebrity matches, who's even excited for these? And they wound up being the best parts of the fucking show. Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. Oh yeah, The Miz. The Miz and Rey Mysterio. With Logan Paul. That whole match. Dominant looked good. Logan looked good. Logan looked really good. But yeah, that was the other one. Austin Theory has some heat right now. Everyone hates that man. I hope for his sake you're right. I want you to be right. I don't know if you're right. I think people were booing because they like Pat a lot. I still think a lot of people are very indifferent to Austin Theory, and I don't know if he's inherently done anything to get himself on the boo train yet. But yeah, Miz and Mysterio did great with Logan. Again, I still think that was Dominic's best looking match as far as his performance is concerned. I just think it's a shame because he was kind of outshined by Logan Paul, which is just a big bummer. But yeah, that was it. I appreciate talking Mania with you guys. I'm glad I can just kind of boot it up. And y'all are down to come chat about this with me. I don't know what the plan is going forward. I just know I'll probably be streaming tomorrow. I don't know what I'm streaming yet. Charlotte carried Ronda. I wouldn't say flip that, but I don't think what you said is right. Like Ronda did great. Did you see Logan taking up wrestling? I mean, the guy took up boxing. I would assume he had a very fun time. What I'm worried about is they had Jake on the pre-show. And Jake was like, they were hyping Jake up. Or Jake was hyping the crowd up or whatever. But Jake is, I don't know, right? Because we only ever see behind the scenes and all that shit. But when you see what Logan's done before and where Logan has gone and what he does now, you at least get the impression, the idea that Logan has grown up a bit, right? Logan's, you know, matured to an extent, and he's able to handle these things on a bigger business end. I don't get that feeling with Jake. I think Jake might still be a douchebag. And I don't want Jake to come in and ruin the thing that Logan's got going if they also bring Jake in for wrestling. Because Jake in the kickoff show teased that he might do a match too. And I kind of hope that doesn't happen. I'm kind of cool if we just, like, let's just keep Logan over here. Let Logan do a feud with Miz, see what happens there, right? But yeah, that whole thing. That whole thing. We're gonna get a Paul Brothers tag match eventually, probably. I'm not sold on. I wasn't sold on Logan when he started doing WWE stuff, but I'm absolutely not sold on Jake. So that's kind of where I'm sitting. Miz versus Logan Paul. I am looking forward to that. Even if Logan Paul decides he wants to stay and wrestle, They save him for SummerSlam or something? I don't know. I don't know. Either way, I appreciate you guys. Lotus just started stream a little bit ago. He's playing a new fighting game he's really into. If y'all want to go say hey to Lotus for me. Like I said, I'll be back tomorrow. What the hell games were we streaming before I stopped? I don't know what games to play anymore. Unless I'm playing games in a friend group. We might actually be in a spot where games die for a little bit. We can figure something out. Anyways, I'm out. Appreciate you guys as always. Thunder out. Peace late. Catch y'all next time. Y'all have a good night, everybody. Be easy. Oh yeah, I gotta finish Kirby. That's the one. We'll finish Kirby.
Shit looked lame as fuck.